Alrighty, welcome everybody to the third episode of Doug's Dugout. And for today, we're starting a little early. We're actually starting with a morning show, so I woke up Doug a little early today. Doug, welcome again.
Always glad to be here, Danny, and always glad to talk about baseball and especially Cardinal baseball. What happened last night?
Absolutely, Doug. So what's the latest? What can you tell us? What happened last night?
A little background. Last weekend we were playing probably one of the worst teams in baseball, Cincinnati Reds, and we did not score any runs. Okay, and because Albert hit one on Friday night, and then we got out of Cincinnati barely
Yeah,
with I think we had one victory, and then we went on the West Coast trip out to San Diego,
yeah.
and we didn't score any runs for 47 innings,
Oh gosh.
and, and they didn't even hit the ball out of the infield. What happened was on Tuesday night, the San Diego pitcher pitched a no hitter in the eighth inning, and Albert came up and he got a base hit and he broke up the no hitter. So
Wow.
42-year-old guy broke up a no hitter, against San Diego.
This guy
And
right here.
that guy right there.
Yeah.
And he Friday night, unfortunately the game was on Apple Plus TV,
Uh-huh.
so it was only showing to Apple customers. And because Apple's doing live baseball on Friday nights, they show two games.
Oh, really?
And yeah, they did all season, and they use their own announcers, and their announcers aren't very good.
Ah.
Okay, not compared to what we're used to St. Louis, and we're used to St. Louis announcers. Anyway, Albert, they're playing Dodgers, which is probably the best team in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They've already cinched. They're going to win like 110 games this year.
Yeah.
Hey, and Albert came up with a guy on, and they the guy tried to pitch around him a little bit, and he threw a inside slider, and Albert turned on it and put it in the left field stand. So that was 799.
Wow.
Okay, so the place erupted, and being in Los Angeles, they had all the celebrities there. Dave Winfield, retired Hall of Famer, and Beltray, that used to play for the Cardinals and the Astros and the Mets, and some other celebrities. Because so they were showing the crowds, and all that, how Apple is, and and then about the sixth inning or so, okay, Albert came up again. So the score was 2-0. Albert came up, and Edmund led off with a hit, and Albert came up, and then this guy named Bickford, a relief pitcher, came in for the Dodgers, and he threw one right down central, and Albert, man, he hit that ball a million miles. Okay,
Wow.
and he's in the 700 club now. The only players that are in the 700 club is Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, and Albert Pujols.
Wow. Wow.
And so the after that, the score was 5-0. Albert had driven all five runs in, and then the next inning, um, the Cardinals erupted. So the final score was like 11-0.
Wow. Wow.
And the Dodgers, the last two innings, their second baseman pitched for the Dodgers, and then the last two innings, a reserve outfielder, Corey Dickerson, pitched for the Cardinals,
Wow.
because the managers didn't want to tear up their pitching staffs because the game was out of, you know.
Yeah. And I
So
see that the Astros also clinched as well this week, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Astros, and so did Cleveland, the
Wow.
Cleveland Guardians, I might add.
Yeah.
Yeah, used to be the Cleveland Indians.
Oh.
And then the other news was that Aaron Judd, he hit six, he reached 60 homers.
Yeah.
He's been on a tear, you know.
Yeah.
That was the first game on Apple TV. It was the Yankees were playing Boston,
Yeah.
and they would, and Yankees, it's Roger, it's Roger Maris hit 61,
Right.
and then there's Babe Ruth, right?
Yeah.
And so he had okay, Jung. Now Aaron Judges has to hit 61 or 62, to beat Roger Maris. He'll probably end up with maybe 63 or 64
Yeah.
because there's only like 8 games left. But
Yeah.
he's a monster. He's like 6'7" and he's pretty agile. He can run. He
Yeah.
can steal bases. He'll probably win the Triple Crown in the American League this year.
Yeah.
He's hitting with an average, so he's hitting like 320 or something like that. So
Yeah.
he's got like 145 RBI. So he's he's a free agent. He turned down a contract with the Yankees this year
Uh-huh.
and played out his free agency. So he's going to get maximum dollars come this fall
Oh,
or
wow.
after the World Series in this winter.
Wow. Well, I don't know what the
Yeah.
MLB did here. I've been trying to find our usual, standings here, and I can't seem to find that screen. They changed it on me somehow. You know.
You
Yeah,
can probably go to just go to. Have you tried going to MLB.com?
yeah, that's where I'm at. Let's see. Expanded. Usually, I would get the scores. Let me switch to the screen here. Give me a
Or maybe it's just
second.
Google.
I don't know. Yeah, see, we've got the. Oh, here we go. Yeah, but of course now they changed it. They used to break it between NL and AL, and now they don't. Let's see. What's the deal with these guys? What does
We
expanded
can
do?
tell. We You got the national. Okay. Go to regular season. Okay, you need to go up at the top there. Click
Yeah.
on regular season. Click on that.
Yep, they changed it. Now they mixed
Yeah.
all these together.
Well,
So,
yeah, because what they're trying to show is the wild card teams too. So
okay.
you can sort it by regular season and by the wild card teams
Yeah. All
because we're
right.
getting
Well,
into the last season. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So
You
let's
want to hit the
start.
what you want to hit the Western Division first?
Can I sort it by the Western? Where, where does it show me the Western Division?
Let's see.
Oh, there it is. Well, you want to do
Let's go
National
by
League or American
yeah.
League
Let's go by
first?
the senior. Yeah, let's go senior circuit,
Okay.
National League.
All right. There
Okay,
we
there
go.
you go. Okay, this shows looks like it's got the best. Where's the games at? Is it sorted by wins? It
They
looks like it
changed.
is.
Yeah, I think so. I think they switched it. Let me go by scores.
Let's look at the header.
Schedule. Go to stats. That's player, but we don't care about player right now. So you want to do national?
Yeah, go to national. And where's the one loss record at?
What they do?
RBI. Let's see. There you go. Just hit standard. Just hit standard. Okay.
I don't see it.
Okay. Let's see. Regular season. Pitching.
Let's do the last 7 days. See what that does. That
Well,
is weird.
why don't you do the next 7 because that's
Last 15. Huh. Well, what we can do is we can go over the scores, I guess, of
yeah.
of the they changed it.
Yeah,
What
just
day?
go to.
What day do you want to go to?
We can go to today.
Okay, this is today. So today we've got these teams playing. Here's the statistics on wins and losses. So you want to get ahead and talk about those?
Okay. Uh, yeah. Yankee. Okay. Everybody wants everybody likes the Yankees, okay, or hate either you love the Yankees or hate them, okay. But the Yankees, they're playing Boston, and MLB always sets this up the last week of the season because there's always this rivalry between Boston and New York.
Mm-hmm.
Boston is way out of it. They're like in last place in the American League. They've had an off year. The Yankees are still in first place, and we just talked about Aaron Judge, a former Cardinal, uh, Harrison Bader, is now playing for him now, and he came back a couple games ago, and during the trading deadline, a last minute deal. The Yankees and the Cardinals got together, and we traded a fan favorite Harrison Bader to the Yankees for a left-handed pitcher named Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery has pitched extremely well for the Cardinals, and Bader's been on the injured list ever since. Well, he was on the injured list with the trade, and now Bader is back with the Yankees, and probably the best defensive center fielder in baseball. He
Mm-hmm.
can run, plays good defense, and he can hit. I'd say he's about a 260, 270 hitter when he was with the Cardinals, and definitely a fan favorite.
Wow.
So, and then of course they got Aaron Judge, and they got all that other high price talent. Judge is the one having a great year. Stanton, he's been hurt, and Rizzo, he's back now, and the first baseman, and Carpenter, another former Cardinal. He bounced the ball off his foot in late August. I think he's still on the DL. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't think the Yankees have enough horsepower for the long run,
Okay.
especially if Judge goes cold.
Yeah.
Okay, and you want to go over to the Braves and Phillies?
Yep.
Okay, well, the Phillies blasted the Braves last night, 9-0.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Phillies are fighting for a wild card berth, and along with Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
and so they've got this game is important to the Phillies especially,
Right.
and to the Braves. So Braves. We talked about the Braves. They have a lot of young ball players that are very good. This Michael Harris the third came out of nowhere and probably get rookie of the year. They have a pitcher named Strider that's a rookie. He broke the record for the most strikeouts in a season by a rookie. Um, they're getting healthier. Braves got a good team, well
And
managed.
the Braves have got a guaranteed shoe in, right? There's no doubt.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they're pretty much in there. The Phillies are fighting for a slot. They fired Joe Girardi earlier in the year because they wasn't playing very good baseball, and then they hired an interim manager. They seem to be doing okay. So
Yeah.
Phillies got a lot to play for.
And the next team
Um,
there,
what else we got there? Nationals and Marlins.
well, actually, before then, sorry, it's
Okay,
the Mets and
the
the
Met.
Athletics.
Okay, well, the Mets. Uh, I mean they're having a really good year. Buck Showalter, an old time manager that's been around forever, been with a lot of teams, the Yankees and Texas Ranger. He took over this year with the Mets. He's got them playing good ball. The polar bear, Pete Alonso, he's having a banner year, and Francisco Lindor, another one that plays for him, a shortstop. He's having a good year. Mets a pretty good team. Okay, and they put him through, they put him them and the Braves have a lock on that division. The Athletics, well, I mean, the Athletics are the Athletics. Okay, the
Yeah.
A's are the A's. Okay, we talked about this a week or two ago. They play in the Mausoleum in Oakland,
Yeah.
and every couple of years they get a good team with their minor league players up, and then they have to trade them away because in order to make payroll,
Wow.
and then they go back down again.
Yeah.
Blue
And then
Jays and Rays. Blue Jays, they're fighting for a playoff berth too, and they're going against the Tampa Bay Rays. Both teams are very good.
yeah, they're
Um,
tied 84 to 67.
yeah, so that's a team. That's a game to take a look at.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Okay.
we've got the Nationals and the Marlins.
Well, who really cares? I mean, both teams have been eliminated. The National, they trade all their good players away at the trading deadline. The Marlins, it's the Marlins. Okay, they don't draw very well, and they they every time they get a couple good players, they have to sell them in order to, you know, they just sell them off, and so they never do anything.
Yeah. Then you've got
And
the Cubs and the Pirates there.
yeah, the Cubs and the Pirates. You're talking about two losers. Okay, the the Cubs are they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
They traded away last year. They traded away a lot of all their good players like Rizzo and Javi Baez and uh, a couple other guys, Chris Bryan, a couple other guys. Um, they're rebuilding, and then they traded some more this year. To play the young ball players.
Yeah.
Pirates, same situation. Beautiful ballpark, PNC, good fan base, but as soon as they get some good ball players through the system, they they sell them off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
a
then
couple good
we
ball players on the Pirates. They got a couple rookies on that ball club. Kayon Bryan, I think that's how you pronounce it.
yeah.
He seems to be a good one, and but like I said, the Pirates, they they're not year after year they're a bottom dweller.
Yeah. 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 All right. So let's go to the next one. And there we go. It's the Brewers and the
Okay,
Reds.
well, Milwaukee's behind St. Louis in the division. Milwaukee's fighting for a wild card berth,
Yeah.
and they've got a good team. They have a lot of good pitching on that team, and the hitting is, they have a few good hitters. This kid named Telez, this big brawler guy, plays first base for him, and an old Cardinal, Colton Wong, who, by the way, hit 3 homers in a game the other day for Milwaukee. A fan favorite for St. Louis. As a matter of fact, we went to the last game we went to in St. Louis. So we were waiting outside for a Uber, and Colton Wong came out, and we talked to him for a few minutes
Oh
as a
wow.
Milwaukee guy. Yeah,
Uh,
and I've got a bobblehead. I got a bobblehead Colton Wong here that when he was with the Cardinals that they gave out at the stadium that night. Colton Wong, fan favorite, but he hit his 3 homers. And then they have McCutcheon.
uh-huh.
He got his 2000th double last night. So, but they have very good pitching, good
Wow.
starting pitching. Reds, um, there again. Well, I'll put it this way: the Reds are in such bad shape that they've been eliminated a long time ago. But the Reds, they have a perennial first baseman named Joey Votto.
Mm-hmm.
Votto, been there for 20 years, 15, 16 years. Okay, well, he got hurt this year, and now what he's doing is he's going into the stands in Cincinnati and sitting with the fans in order to drum up support for the Reds.
Wow.
I saw that. Yeah, I thought that was the other day. I thought that was pretty cool. He was going from like seat to seat or section to section, and sitting with a fan with some fans, for an inning or two, and then he'd get up, and so he was trying to drum up some support for the Reds, okay,
Wow.
because he can't play. So I guess they're paying him, so I guess that's his personal service contract. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah. Um, the Astros and the Orioles. The answer you said. The Astros cinched. Last night. Uh, what can you say? Good team, good farm system. Um, uh, Not a big fan of Dusty Baker, but I can't argue with success. Dusty Baker's been, successful. He was a successful player when he played for the Dodgers in Atlanta, and then he became manager of the Braves. No, he became manager of the Cubs, and I think he managed a little while for the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he took over with a couple of years ago when they had the big scandal over the cheating deal,
Right.
banging on the trash cans and stuff. They needed an old timer to come in and kind of add a little integrity to the team.
Yeah.
So they brought him in, and he's a good manager.
Yeah.
Um, you can I don't know, Tony La Russa and him don't get along. Well, I think they get around. There was a fight a few years ago when the Cardinals played the Reds
Uh,
between Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker, but I think it's over with now.
and then you've got the Guardians and the Rangers here.
Yeah, Guardians they cinched. Okay,
Yeah.
the Guardians they cinched. Still can't get over the name. It used to be Cleveland Indians,
Yeah.
but they want woke, and so they went over to the Guardians. And good team,
Yeah.
and they're having a great.
Yeah.
They're having a great year. Rangers constantly rebuilding.
Yeah.
Okay, and what can I say about the Rangers? Nice,
Yeah.
they got a new stadium though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Mariners and the Royals. Mariners, they're another team battling for a playoff berth. I think they're pretty much out of it though now.
Uh-huh.
In Kansas City, they fired their president of operations and general manager Dayton Moore last week. Dayton Moore was, he's been in the baseball management field. He started out with the Braves many, many years ago. One of the best minds in baseball. And then about 10 years ago, no, I guess 16 years ago, he went over to Kansas City. He did get him a world championship a couple years ago, and but they haven't done anything since then. So they finally fired him. So they're going to
Wow.
be looking for a new general manager.
Wow.
He won't have to worry about a job. Somebody will pick him up.
Somebody will pick them up eventually. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you've got the
Angels and
Angels, the
Twins.
Twins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them are out of it. I mean, it's Mike Trout. He's kind of cooled off quite a bit the last week or so, and Ohani has too. Trout's going to get his 35 or 40 homers, and the same thing with Ohani. Ohani will he may not get most valuable player this year because Judge is having such an outstanding year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about all I can say about the Angels and the Twins. My daughter Taylor, that's a team that Taylor likes, and because she lives in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and they had a bad series. They had to win all their games, and they lost 7 games in a row to Kansas City last week.
Right.
Okay, and so that knocked them out. So they're pretty much out of it. Tigers and the White Sox. Tigers. You know, you know, constantly rebuilding.
Yep.
Okay, and I think they're looking for. I think they hired a new general manager.
Yeah.
They always find that. There's an old saying in baseball. It's always easy to, it's easier to fire the manager than it is the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what they did, and they fired the general manager and brought a new guy in. We'll see what he does,
Yeah.
but that's next year.
Uh.
Padres and the Rockies. Is it
Yep.
Padres and the Rockies? Yeah,
Yep.
Padres. Okay, they Cardinals came into San Diego. They gave them and they came into a buzzsaw in San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego looked pretty good the 3 games I saw them. They've got some good pitching, and their hitting is coming along well. They've got Juan Soto and Josh Bell and some other ball players that are coming around,
Yeah.
and they're a team to be reckoned with. I expect them to probably beat the Brewers, the Brew Crew on the wild card booth. So it's going to probably be the Cardinals and the Padres play in the offseason on the first
Hmm.
round. Rockies are out of it, of course.
And then you've got,
Giants and the Diamondbacks, both teams, second division are,
yeah.
they're in the last place in that, so they're over with.
And lastly, the Cardinals and the Dodgers.
Yeah, Cardinals and the Dodgers. Yeah, the Dodgers already cinched,
Yeah.
so they really don't have anything to play for except bragging rights. The Cardinals, the Cardinals' magic number as of last night, they have to win 5 games. It is 5, so it's a combination of 5 wins or 5 defeats by Milwaukee, and they cinch. I would expect them to cinch probably. Well, after the Cardinals get done with the Dodgers, they go on to Milwaukee in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee's going to be fired up for that.
Hmm.
And then they come back to St. Louis and finish up against Pittsburgh. Um, um I I and the Dodgers, they've got an easy schedule the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Um, but they're still trying to win.
Yeah.
Um, they but um their Cardinals need to win the game. They just it'd be interesting to see if Albert starts today, and since he's got the 700, but I think he will because last night he usually bats when he was in his heyday with the Cardinals. He always batted third,
Hmm.
okay, because you got to bat more times at bat.
Right.
Okay, well this year with the Cardinals, he's been batting like sixth or seventh. Okay, and that's worked out okay. But last night he batted second, which is the leadoff hitter is the table setter, and then the guy that hits second, he's the one that moves the runner along and stuff. So Marmo had him, he had a 42-year-old guy, power hitter, hitting second. So
Yeah.
that worked out well last night.
Yeah.
So I look for Albert. Albert may not play, but because of the 700 is over with, but I look for him to play because they need to win games.
Right.
And the
So,
Dodgers, they blew last night. They didn't look good last night. Well, they got some good players on that team. They spent a ton of money on payroll, and I look for the Dodgers to bounce back. So it's gonna be a closer. Plus Clayton Kershaw's pitching for the Dodgers today.
yeah.
So Clayton Kershaw's been around in baseball he's like one of the premier baseball players and pitchers in baseball.
Yeah.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So for
So we
your
got
your
Montgomery and Kershaw.
so for your predictions first for this week, what do you think's going to happen with these teams?
Well, I think the Cardinals are going to go into Milwaukee and hopefully we'll win the series. We probably need at least win 1 game.
Hmm.
It'd be ideal to win 2. And then we come back to Busch Stadium. Busch Stadium will go crazy, because that's going to be the weekend where they give all the bobbleheads away. I think Friday night is Albert's night, and then Saturday I think is Wainwright's night, and then Sunday is Yachty. They have a 3 bobblehead deal, you know, and we tried to get tickets for those games way back in June. No way.
No.
And the Cardinals wasn't even in the race back then.
Wow.
So I think the Cardinals will maybe win 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee, I hope, and then probably cinch next Friday night or Saturday in St. Louis.
Right.
which would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, See, I think that the Mets, I think Aaron Judge will probably hit maybe 60, number 61, 62, and 63 next week. Um, and then, well, also too, the reason why one of the, Judge is a monster. Okay. I mean, he actually hits leadoff, which is kind of surprisingly, but, he's been playing in some ballparks. The Fenway is the oldest ballpark in baseball.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking Babe Ruth played in that ballpark. It's a small ballpark. And then and not only that, at Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium, the right field fence is just really, really short.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's got the ballparks to his advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. In the National League, the ballpark's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So, but he'll still hit his homers.
Yeah.
And then I think there's going to be a battle between, the Mets and Atlanta. That's a tough division.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I think the White Sox and who's that? Oh, no. See, they've already said White Sox will be battling for a playoff berth in that division.
All right.
So, you get down to the cinch. Some teams have been eliminated, and then there's some teams that are still in the race. So,
Yeah. Well, hopefully next
berth.
week, for next week's show, we can get a condensed chart of where everybody's at, and who's been eliminated, who
Yeah.
hasn't, and so forth. I know on the MLB site, it's a little difficult to tell, but yeah, maybe for next week we can get a more condensed chart that we can show to our viewers out there. I know that in closing, you wanted to introduce a Doug's story, and so you sent me a picture of something you wanted to close with. So let me go ahead and transition here. And you've got a
Okay.
picture of a baseball game. So talk to us about
Yeah.
this.
Okay. This is, baseball's is it's just a slow game.
Yeah.
It's a 3 hour game. Every time they try to speed it up, it slows down. Okay. And so the good thing about baseball is there's stories to tell.
Yeah.
There's always somebody's always so. In the last couple of weeks, I've been telling stories that when I was a kid, what happened. So if you look at the date on that picture, okay, July 4th, 1962, the Cardinals and the Phillies, they played a doubleheader. And that's old Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, the old Bush Stadium #1, the old Sportsman's Park, where last week I talked about the right field pavilion that Dad and I set out there. Well, you see at the very top there, that's a press box.
Right.
Okay. And how we got those seats is my grandpa in Carlinville, Illinois, he ran a trucking and coal business. And Green Market, 1962 now, okay? And I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
And so Green Market Coal would come around and they would give promotions. So they came to the coal office and Green Market Coal owned that press box up there.
Yeah.
Okay. And the guy says, "Hey, I've got 4 tickets for a July 4th game. Would you like to have them to my grandpa?" And my grandpa says, "Well, yeah, my grandson will go." And so my grandpa gave them to my dad, and then we got a hold of some friends that we knew in Litchfield, and we all 4 went down in a 55 Packard that Dave Wallace drove. Okay. Okay. So we rode down to St. Louis, and then we didn't know where to go, but we thought they were pretty good tickets. So we got there, and the usher met us, and they said, "Well, come this way." Well, then we got on an elevator and went up to the press box.
Wow.
Okay. We were like treated like royalty up there. And we came in there, and then there was in the luxury, it was a forerunner of the luxury boxes. And we sat there and we looked at the field, and great seats. And then we had a waiter that gave us food and free of charge, and drinks and Budweiser and Busch Bavarian beer and all that kind of stuff for the adults, and um and it was air conditioning too, with an
Wow.
open. Get this, it was air conditioning, but there was no glass in front of it,
Wow.
and yeah, the only thing we had to do is like raise our hand or press a little button, and the waiter came over. He was in uh, white gloves and it's just like in the movies, like
Yeah.
luxury hotels and stuff. A little bow tie he had and everything. So anyway, we watched this ball game, okay, and this is the days when Stan Musial and Bill White, Steve Carlton, Kenny Boyer, and those guys played for the Cardinals. And Philadelphia didn't have a very good team.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals were fighting the battle with the Dodgers for the pennant. And so this was 4th of July. Okay. Pretty hot, but and so we were watching the ball game there. And the first game, the Cardinals got beat. Okay. Steve Carlton was a rookie, and I think he got beat. He was like 21 or 22 years old. And the second game, back then, when they played double headers, they scheduled double headers. Now
Yeah.
what they do is they play double headers, and it's like it's a rain makeup game. And
Yeah.
so what they do is they play the first game, okay, and then when that game's completed, they chase everybody out of the stadium, and then the second game, okay, starts in the evening, and then they bring everybody back in. Okay, so so they get that extra money,
Right.
right? Well, back in those days, they played a doubleheader. There was like a 15 or 20-minute break between the games.
Wow.
Okay. And so the second game, the Cardinals won. And then, Cardinals had, like I said, they had Boyer and those guys, but Philadelphia had guys like Johnny Callison and Tony Taylor and Richie Allen and those guys. Well, okay, so that was great. So we decided we were on top of the world. We thought we were just we thought we were royalty, okay?
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to go up some ramp at a ballpark. The old Busch Stadium, he had all these ramps you had to go up all the time.
Yeah.
Continuous ramps. Well, we had an elevator.
Yeah.
We special, okay? And so we got down there, and then it was getaway day for both teams.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had the buses lined up, and we wanted autographs. And back in that days, you could just go out and the players would sign the autographs. So that particular day, I was out there and I got a whole bunch of autographs, like Harry Carey and Jack Buck and Steve Carlton, Bob Gibson, Kenny Boyer, all those guys. I didn't get Musial's autograph, but because he was kind of like off to the side to everybody. But so they were getting on the bus. The Phillies had their bus, and the Cardinals had their bus. Okay. Well, the Phillies, last place ball club.
Yeah.
There's this reserve outfielder. His name was Poncho Herrera.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And he comes out with 2 big glasses of Budweiser.
Yeah.
Big old cups of Budweiser. And he's got a little fedora hat on.
Yeah.
Got a little mustache. He's a Cuban ball player.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he says, I want to be a Cardinal. I don't want to be a Philadelphia Philly anymore.
Yeah.
And he was drinking his beer, and most of it got on his clothes and stuff, and he was drunk. Okay. Poncho was. And he come out there, and then, he kept on trying to get on the Cardinal bus. Okay. And Harry Carey, we talked about him last week. He's a guy with the great big glasses,
Right.
And he grabbed him and says, no, Poncho, you can't come on this bus. This is for Cardinals. Yeah, but I want to be a Cardinal. So finally, they got, back then, the security guys at the stadium they had a white shirt on, and they had one of those little bus driver caps on.
Right.
That was the stadium security.
Oh,
So a couple of those guys finally dragged him. He was on the steps of the Cardinal bus, And he kept on insisting, I want to be a Cardinal. I want to be a Cardinal, and all that. And they dragged him. They finally had to drag him off the bus, and then they got him over to the Philly bus, and he drove off. And
Wow.
yeah, so I always remember because they had all the, like Jack Buck and Harry Carey and all those Cardinal greats, and Jack Buck was, Joe Buck that does the games now. That's his dad, right? Jack
Yeah.
Buck.
Yeah.
Okay, he did the Cardinal games for like 50 years. Okay, and all those guys were on that bus, and this Philadelphia Philly outfielder was trying to get on that bus, and he had Budweiser all over the place,
Wow.
you know. And he was drunker than a skunk, and and everybody was laughing.
Yeah.
Everybody was laughing over the thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I always remember that as a kid, and
Yeah.
so that was one of the funniest things I ever seen in my life was this Poncho.
Do you
And I
still
think
have some of
Poncho,
those
I looked him up
autographs? Do you still have
to
some
the
of those
Poncho.
autographs?
What's oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But as a 9-year-old, you don't know who's going to be in the Hall of Fame or not,
Right.
and you didn't know it was like Steve Carlton, what he was going to go do, or even I always liked Gibson,
Yeah.
Kenny Boyer is my favorite.
Yeah.
And but yeah, always a memory when
Yeah.
and that's the good thing about going to the stadium is that you get all these memories,
Right. Right.
especially if you got children,
Right.
because
Something
the
you
kids.
can't do or get on TV. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the kids, here I was 9 years old. Here I am 69 years old, and I still remember that 60 years, and
Wow.
I still remember it like when I
Like
was a kid.
like if it was
Yeah, but
yesterday.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we had so much fun that day, and we didn't know what to expect. We just thought, here we are, a bunch of trailer people. We lived in a trailer in Carlinville, Illinois, and here we are in Bush Stadium, and we're being treated like royalty up in the
And the
luxury
luxury
boxes up there.
box.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
on a last note, I see that you've added an addition to the Mac Cave there on your door. What is that?
That's a recording sign.
Yeah.
Okay. On the outside of the door, I have an on the air sign. So when that light goes on,
Uh-huh.
okay, you want everything quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means
And
Diva
sometimes
can't be messing around with pots and pans out there.
pots and pans, and she's on the phone. The daughter's calling in every 15 minutes, and you know how it is in a household. And
Yeah.
so, I bought that on. I have another on the air light
Yeah.
on the stand over here, but it requires electrical power. So I wanted to get one with battery. And finally, on Etsy, there was a guy in Ankara, Turkey, that sells
Wow.
those. Made to
Wow.
order,
Wow.
and so I bought it off of him. The one outside says on the air, and about a week or two later, I got it.
Yeah.
And then I liked it so much, I said, "Well, I'm going to get the recording."
Yeah.
So I bought the recording there again, a week or two later. Can't say enough for this guy in Ankara, Turkey. I think he's 3D prints them.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, and it's runs on like 8 batteries, I think.
Wow.
And we just put Velcro on the wall there on those doors.
Okay.
And outside they're on a regular nail on there
Right.
because on the drywall.
Yeah.
But I don't put any nails on these doors I have in here because they were pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's works pretty good recording, and
Yeah. That's what I
yeah.
need to do. I need to have something like that outside my door, so
I highly recommend this guy in Ankara, Turkey. He answers his emails. I asked him the other day. The one outside has a white background with red letters, and I asked him if he could make me one just like that.
Yeah.
Just because the sign just slides in and out. The letters do.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And he says, yeah, sure. But I went to bed next morning. I got a response from him.
Wow.
Said,
Well,
yeah,
send me the
$35.
link. Send me the link so I could see what he's got, you know.
Yeah.
All righty, Doug. Well, that wraps up our third episode here with regards to baseball. We'll be back on next Saturday at our regular time at 8 p.m. Some exciting episodes coming up in the week. As you know, NASA is going to attempt to launch the SLS rocket here on Tuesday. Hopefully, third time's the charm. A lot's riding on this. I know that Boeing has a lot riding on this. So
Well, I
hopeful,
wanted this the same guy that better check the fuel leaks a little bit closer this time, right?
yeah,
He's missed it twice.
I know. So hopefully that'll go off with a hitch here on Tuesday. And then that night, I'm going to have an outfit out of Houston and Florida. We'll be looking at the Texas Solar Power Tree, which is an alternative to solar panels. So we've got two exciting episodes this week, as well as Doug's Dugout here at 3 p.m. And I think on Friday we're also going to have a new episode of the Gaming Zone. So we've got a pretty busy week ahead, pretty exciting week. And like I said, we really enjoy going over the stats and the teams. And it's getting pretty exciting here as we head towards the World Series. So, alrighty. Uh, Everybody, thanks for watching. Doug, you want to say
Yeah,
anything?
I think Danny, you need to tell them where you can find the podcast at.
Actually, yes. Good thing you reminded me. You can find the podcast obviously on Facebook, YouTube Live, Spotify. For those that are Spotify members, you can watch the video as well as the audio. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and we just came on with Twitch. So we are actually on 6 social media platforms as we speak. So if you
How about
can't
that?
catch us on video, you can catch us on audio, both on Windows, Mac, uh, iOS, and Android. So,
Android.
yep. Alrighty, folks. Well, that's it for this
Okay.
week. Doug, thank you.
And that's a winner.
That's the winner.
Yeah.